Hey everyone, so we already know that Awakening is going to be hitting the PS4 on the 25th. That's going to awaken all of the current classes we have, so the 6 originals, along with the Musa and the Dark Knight that have also been added to the game. Now there's a lot of speculation that we might also be receiving things like the Striker and the Larn, because they were in the Awakening video. That's something I'm going to cover in another video anyway when I go over preparing for Awakening, but ultimately it wouldn't surprise me if both of those classes are added to the game. Now, alongside that, I would highly anticipate that Valencia is going to be added on the 25th alongside Awakening. And the reason for this is the post that we currently have and the event that we have in game, which is Prepare for a Desert Storm. Now, this essentially is just a preparation event that's going to allow you to gather some items just for being logged into the game. So even by playing AFK, if you're AFK fishing or anything, as long as you're making sure to do at least 4 hours a day, every day, you're going to be able to pick up these items. Now these are things like the item collection increase scrolls, along with 1 sharp and 1 hard black crystal shard for being logged in for the full 4 hours. Now the important thing to notice about this is the fact that the event runs up to the 25th of September. This is the exact same time that the Awakening patch is going to land, and it would just lend itself to reasoning that this is also going to be when Valencia is added to the game. This is quite interesting because it means that Valencia is added 2 days before we get access to Conquest, along with Awakening. It's going to really change and dramatically impact the whole Node War and the Conquest scene as we go into there with Awakened classes. Things like Rangers dropping off compared to Witches and Wizards. If we get the Striker class in there as well, being a really tanky frontline, super armor rotating is fantastic. But also the classes having all of their Awakenings are going to really impact the way that this plays out. I, for one, am really interested in seeing how that happens, because the pre-awakened state, as fun as it is, and the fact that it is refreshing to have this ability to play pre-awakening again, it is something I've done previously, and I know that the classes don't feel quite as good as they do after awakening, and it often leads to a lot of people re-rolling. So the Valencia patch itself will add the whole new landmass of Valencia. This is the desert region, along with some of the greatest grind spots that there currently are in the game for leveling around that 55 up to 60 and 61. So currently where people are questing from 57 to 59, that will take a back seat almost on most alts, because you'll be able to just level at places like Fogans, Nagas, Bashams as well. You're just going to have a lot of experience there. I would be interested to see what comes in this patch though. Are we going to get access to Marnie Stones? Are we going to be able to have Marnie Stones from day one? In which case that will make Naga and Fogans the place to grind in Valencia. Also alongside that, are we getting absolutes along with Awakenings? There hasn't been a lot of information on what we can expect in this patch. So all we can really do is try to anticipate what they're going to put into the game and look to prepare for that as best we can. So let's take a look at a couple of things that you're going to want to do ahead of Valencia landing to make sure that you're in the best possible position and that you're able to prepare for this new update coming into the game on the 25th. So first of all, money is king. You're going to want to save as much silver as you can leading into Valencia, because there are going to be a whole host of new accessories added to the game. Now these accessories are considered endgame accessories. They're the kind that you're going to want to get to try, Tet and even to pen at some point in the very distant future. We're going to have access to Crescent Rings, Ceres Necklaces, Tongue Grad Earrings and Basilisk Belts, along with a few other items as well, but these 4 are vastly considered to be the most popular and the most used accessories. Now based off how the marketplace has been playing currently on the PS4 version, prices have started off incredibly low or incredibly warped, and they haven't altered as dramatically as they normally would. This means that if you have the money available, you can potentially pick up a couple of these accessories for a really cheap price. Now, although they might not excel when compared to things like the Asula just now, as soon as you start to increase them in enhancements levels, so up to Pry and then Duo and Tri, they vastly outperform any other accessories currently available. This is just one of the reasons why Valencia is such a highly sought after patch, because of the sheer amount of content that it adds to the game, along with the sheer amount of this content and these items that are considered endgame. Now, Rings of Crescent Guardian, Ceres Necklace will start to pop up on the marketplace almost immediately within the first couple of hours, if not the first 24 hours. Things like the Basilisk Belt will follow shortly after. And then Tongue Grad Earrings, because they are from the harder to grind areas, History and Ackman, they won't start to appear to begin with. However, they will start to as people then progress further in their gear. To grind those areas, you do need a lot more AP, and you do also, for most classes, need to have the Kutum offhand. Now, this is also something I would expect to be added in the patch, so let's go ahead and take a look at that now. So the Kutum offhand comes from a world boss similar to Zarka. This is a boss that's added in Valencia. It's a giant worm and resides in a cave very close to Sangre Bazaar. Now, the Kutum offhand is considered by far the best PvE offhand until you hit the higher levels of AP. And this is from the extra AP against monsters. You gain plus 43 from the Kutum at try, as well as ignoring all resistances of plus 10%. It gives you a little bit of DP, some evasion, and a little bit of accuracy as well. Overall, it's a pretty well balanced offhand. If you're looking at the comparisons between an AP offhand and the Kutum, for example, they are very similar. The only offhand that will really excel over the Kutum is going to be the Nuva. However, this isn't something I expect to be added this soon into the game. That being said, it wouldn't surprise me if it is added because Pearl Abyss are really trying to speed things up now. Similar to Zarka, you're going to have to fight this world boss. It will spawn at set times on set days, and it will be slotted into the schedule. To start with, this schedule won't be too cluttered. You should be able to still hit Zarka and still hit Kutum without any real issues. What I would say though is that you want to get ready to have pre-orders on these as soon as they drop. Managing to get one of these as quickly as possible, either through a boss kill or through a pre-order, is going to hugely increase your grind speed, which will then increase the amount of money you can make. The only downside to having a Kutum is that, similar to Zarka and other boss items, you are going to need memory fragments to upgrade this. Now, looking at the central marketplace, memory fragments are finally transitioning to their value price. This means that they'll settle at around 1.5 to 2 million over the next couple of days, and then as we progress further into the game, they will start to lower in price, only spiking when specific items get added to the game. That being said, we do also get access to another additional means of getting memory fragments through the Pila Kai scrolls, and that's something that we'll take a look at in a second. But I just wanted to touch on the Kutum offhands because these are going to be a significant item upgrade for most people. Definitely something to work around. If you have your Zarka already, I would commit most of your time to coming out here and hitting this boss as quickly as you can and trying to pop into those top damage brackets to increase the chance of getting the Kutum talisman or the Kutum offhand whenever you are available to do the world boss. So as I mentioned, there is a new scroll item that's added to the game. This is similar to the relic fragments and also to the forbidden books in the sense that you need 5 of these combined. You're going to then turn them into a scroll and you're going to be able to summon multiple waves of bosses that are going to then reward memory fragments, hunter seals, and a bunch of potions. Now, these scrolls are considerably quicker to do than the relics and even quicker to do than the forbidden books, so the time commitment really isn't that high. Also, because these drop in places that you will be grinding in Valencia, so Nagas, Fogans, Bandits, it makes them much more readily available than the counterparts of things like the relics and the forbidden books. Now, the forbidden books don't drop anywhere near as often as the Peel Face scroll fragments do, and they also drop about on par with things like the relic fragments. So the fact that people are going to be grinding these areas for a little bit of time to come means that they will be readily available. I have noticed that over the last couple of days as well, the relic fragment costs and the forbidden books have skyrocketed. This is in part due to the central marketplace issues that caused memory fragments to not correctly price and to not increase with pricing. This is something that I raised to PA through the partnership program, and it was fixed within the next 24 hours, which is fantastic to see that they were quick to do this. Ultimately though, we are still waiting for an update and for the prices to get where they should be. At the time where the memory fragments hit that price, which should be within the next sort of 24 to 48 hours based off how the pricing has been changing, I would expect then that relics and forbidden books will start to depreciate in cost and come back down to where they normally settle at, which is around 1 million for each of them, maybe a little bit less at times or a little bit more depending on the supply and demand. But ultimately, having more access to memory fragments is great when you take into account that we've got all of this boss gear in game. We're going to be getting the Kutum offhand as well, and obviously people are doing Zarka, Begs, Muskans and everything already. So that's just me touching a little bit on the Valencia update. Now, I could still be proven wrong and this might not come on the 25th, however I'm highly expecting that it will do, and it wouldn't surprise me if an announcement is shortly following and also a live stream from the devs probably on the weekend coming up. Now as you can see here, I've put the map of Valencia. This is one of my favourite maps. It's really easy to find in Google, and I've also got it in one of my video descriptions. Again, I'll put it in the description down below. It highlights the different grind areas along with their AP requirements or rough AP requirements, the drops that you get from each one of them, also whether or not you have the debuff or no debuff for the desert. That can be a little bit of a pain when you're grinding. There are spots that just have no debuffs, which are fantastic. So there are spots at Fogans as well that doesn't have the debuff at all, although it does show it here. Now these spots are going to be highly contested. There are going to be a lot of people going out there, which is also going to free up a lot of the places in Medaya for people that are lower levels or that are looking to just grind a little bit of skill points, which should be one of your main priorities over the next week. So I did want to tell everybody a little bit of information on how to prepare for Valencia. So things that I would avoid doing over the coming week, providing that you're not in one of the guilds pushing for conquest, is I would stop enhancing gear, start saving your sharps, start saving your hards. Sharps more important than hards, but I wouldn't be looking to buy any armor and weapon stones. The reason being is the drop rate is astronomical when it comes to things like Nagas and Fogans. This means that the prices will drop with armor and weapon stones, and you will also have access to a quest line that gives you free fail stacks. This means that you're going to be able to progress your gear a lot quicker with a lot less investment in terms of money, so definitely something that you might want to consider. Like I said when I was talking about the offhand and the accessories, money really is king. So when it comes to Valencia, you're going to want to save as much money as you can, and you're going to want to make sure that you're able to put those pre-orders up on items as they become available. With the introduction to Valencia, we should also get the desert debuff, which will make trading a lot more profitable. However, I can't guarantee that anything is going to be added in this patch because unfortunately PA are very quiet and tight-lipped on what they're going to be adding to the game. As always though guys, as soon as I get any information I will be sharing it here first, so if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, tap that bell icon so you don't miss out on any of the content coming up. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.